Hello, and welcome to the Bank Tellers podcast brought to you by Money 2020, where we speak to senior leaders from banks around the world. I'm Namita, content lead for Money 2020 Asia, and in this episode, we are joined by Dwaipayan Sadhu, the CEO of TrustBank. Welcome, Dwai. To kick things off, could you briefly share about yourself, introduce yourself, your bank to our listeners? Perhaps share a bit about the bank's journey, where it stands today in terms of asset size, focus areas, and what makes it unique in the industry.
Thank you, Namita. Delighted to be here. So my name is Dwai. I'm the CEO of TrustBank. Trust is Singapore's first digital bank. Now, we went live around 2 years back. In fact, we just celebrated our second birthday. We went live in September 2022. And what a ride it has been. In the last 2 years, we have become the world's fastest growing digital bank. That's right. In the first year, we onboarded 600,000 Singapore clients. Proportionally, that's 12% of Singapore's population. So if you go by market penetration, we are the fastest growing digital bank anywhere in the world. And since then, we have continued to scale and grow. Now, just a little bit of a background on who Trust is. So as I mentioned, Trust is a digital bank. We are a joint venture between Standard Chartered, who, as you know, is a very large bank, and NTUC. Now, who is NTUC? For the people in Singapore, it's very, very well known. For the people outside Singapore, it's a very large ecosystem. They are the largest supermarket in Singapore. They have a very large food services business. They have a large insurer, and they also have a very large loyalty points platform in Singapore. So they are a joint venture partner in Trust, and we are an ecosystem bank. So that means we are integrated into various parts of the NTUC ecosystem. So I mentioned about the rewards and loyalty platform that NTUC runs, which is called Link Points. Trust is today the only way in which you can accelerate your Link Points earning. And you know, people are worried about their cost of living. People are worried about inflation. If you want to bring down your cost of living, Trust is the only way in which you can get tangible savings at supermarket shopping with NTUC along with Trust. And there are many such other examples on how we have integrated ourselves into the NTUC ecosystem. So we call ourselves an ecosystem bank. Around 1 million Singapore clients interact with NTUC every day of a population of around 5 to 6 million. So you can see the scale of the ecosystem. And as a result, if you are in that ecosystem, it's almost like a no-brainer. It's a must-have to be banking with Trust. So we have gotten off to a very, very, very good start. I mentioned about the scale where we have become a very large bank very fast. As of the end of second year, we have now crossed over 800,000 clients. And more than the number of clients, our active rates and our balances that we have with clients have been growing at a very, very fast clip. For example, in the first half of this year, if you compare to the first half of last year, our deposit balances are up 2.6 times. Deposit balances have now crossed Singapore dollars $3 billion. Our asset balances are up 3.1 times. They're almost approaching $500 million. But more than just these numbers is the client feedback and the client type of endorsement we are getting, which makes us very, very happy. For example, we are the number one rated banking app in the Apple App Store. We are also over 70% of our clients are coming in as referral from another client. So you can see that clients are very happy to use us. They're very happy with the experience, and hence they're willing to recommend their friends and family to join us. So of course, it's a very early days, but we have gotten off to a very, very, very good start.
Amazing. And okay, if you're looking back, what has been one of the most defining moments in your bank's growth journey? Was there like a challenge or opportunity that shaped where you are today?
There are there are challenges that we grapple with every day. As a startup new bank, you of course are charting a very uncharted water. So as a result, every day you face a new challenge. Every day you are solving a real client challenge. But what keeps us very, very engaged is the fact that number one, we are creating something that has never been done before. We are creating a bank which is solving real client pain points. And I'll give you a few examples. Now, Singapore is an advanced digital banking market. Every bank has a fairly complex digital offerings. But we find out that even today, there exists significant friction in the process. And as a result, clients very often have to do multiple steps in order to do a very simple transaction.
Mm.
So take, for example, account opening. Now, Singapore has fantastic digital national infrastructure. So you will imagine that the account opening process will be very seamless. But unfortunately, it is not. So we worked really hard on the process, removed many pain points, removed the friction. But most importantly, we had a fantastic tech platform which is enabling us to do that. And as a result, we are able to onboard a client in under 3 minutes. Now that's end-to-end onboarding from the time you start downloading the app to the time that you actually have a credit or debit card in your wallet. Now that is market leading not just here but anywhere in the world. And similarly, we have challenged the status quo in many other areas of the banking journey where we have tried to remove the client pain points or the friction that exists today. So I would say yes, there have been challenges, but the fact that we have been solving real client pain points, the fact that we are bringing real innovation in the market, have kept both me and the team extremely excited and the journey over the last 2 to 3 years.
Amazing. Let's move on to the strategy bit for a little bit. What is your secret sauce? Why would a consumer or business pick your bank over another? I know you're mentioning about the seamlessness and the 3 minute onboarding, but is there any other reason that you think that this might
Yeah,
happen?
thank you. I would say there are two main pillars of reason why a bank or why a client would choose to bank with Trust. Number one, we are an ecosystem bank. Now, as I mentioned, Trust is a joint venture, and NTUC is our joint venture partner along with Standard Chartered. Now, NTUC is a very large ecosystem in Singapore. Almost 1 million clients among a population of 5 to 6 million interact with NTUC every day. So it is a daily use ecosystem. Now we are integrated into multiple parts of the ecosystem. We are integrated into the supermarket. They are the largest supermarket in Singapore. We are integrated into the food services business. They are one of the largest food service providers in Singapore. We are
Yeah,
integrated
yeah.
into insurance. We are integrated into the reward points platform. So effectively, we are every part of the journey that the client takes with NTUC. We are there. And it's not just there for being there, it is bringing real tangible savings to the client. So, and as you know, clients are worried about cost of living, clients are worried about inflation. And when they see real tangible savings that is coming back to them, they really appreciate that. So, that is a big, big pillar of our secret sauce. The second part of it is really the experience. And we have seen that we are a challenger. We are the latest entrant in the market. So we need to do things better than everybody else. And that goes for speed, that goes for transparency, that goes for just delighting the client. And what we have seen is that both functional as well as non-functional benefits matter. So functional benefits, of course, are how much interest are you getting, how much rewards are you getting, or how fast are you able to do that. But the non-functional parts really is how do you feel about the bank? Can you delight the client? Can you build a relationship which just goes beyond that specific transaction? So we have tried to build a long-term relationship with the client. We have tried to inject fun and delight in every transaction that you do. Some of them small, some of them clients when they feel that they feel, oh wow, I never expected that from a bank. And I think the combination of both of these have started us off very, very well and very, very strongly in Singapore.
That is true. I have heard these feedbacks from my own friends as well, so it's quite interesting. And how about innovation? How do you think about innovation inside the bank? What are some recent decisions that you've chosen to build, buy, partner that speak to this?
Yeah. Innovation for us is key. We are a challenger bank. So we have to challenge ourselves to create true differentiation and bring true innovation to the market every day. Now, we are blessed with a great team. We are blessed with a fantastic technology infrastructure, and that has allowed us to create true innovation in the market. And a couple of examples for that. I think number one is around making banking simple. And as we
Mhm.
know, Singapore advanced digital banking market, many, many apps, but still there is friction. So can we make banking much simpler than it is today by removing this friction? And that we have done through examples of our onboarding, which is less than 3 minutes. Or our instant loan. If you are an existing bank client, taking up a loan product from us takes you less than a minute. Now, and we are still doing every credit check. We're still doing all the due diligence that everybody else does. But it's just that we're able to do it so much faster and so much better. The second one, in addition to making banking simple, is about challenging the status quo. And we see there are certain practices which exist in banking in the market, which are very difficult to understand why they exist that way. Take, for example, if you want to apply for a supplementary card, you already have a card, you are now extending a card to your spouse or to your child or to anybody else. And you will often figure in many other banks, actually in all other banks, to do that, you have to fill up some sort of a form. Sometimes you have to mail it to them, and sometimes digital means you have to scan it to them. And then you have to wait
Mm.
for some time for that to get approved. And we really asked ourselves in today's day and age, why is the process like this and can we change it? So our process is that you invite someone through your app. The person receives the invite on the app, accepts the invite, and its real time gets opened. End to end digital, very seamless. It's almost as if you are adding a friend to your contact list. Now, you can see in the bigger scheme of things, it's a very simple thing. Why did somebody do it? But it goes back to the principle of challenging the status quo and not accept something just because it exists. And the third part about innovation for us really is around, can we bring new products and services to the market which adds real value to the client? And we have done many of them. One great innovation we have done is our zero FX proposition. In the Singapore market, everybody travels in Singapore multiple times. We hear between 4 to 6 times every year. But there are many fees which exist where the clients don't even know. For example, you pay up to 3.5% fees, which are essentially hidden as part of your exchange rates. Now, we went to the
Uh,
market with a zero FX proposition where we said, no, you pay no fees. The exchange rate you see on Google is very close to what you will actually pay. Simple innovation, but the impact has been massive. And trust has become almost the
uh,
default card if you're traveling overseas. Or you introduced the concept of saving spots, where we said that clients need to save, but they're looking for tools which will help them save regularly. So we introduced saving spots, which are like sub accounts within your main account. You can save towards different purposes. You can save towards a holiday, you can save towards a big ticket purchase, you can save towards education, anything. And you set up separate pots with different target dates for the purpose. Again, it really helps the client to save regularly, and we are seeing very, very strong take up of the product from younger clients, which again proves to us that there was a real need for disciplined savings. And when clients get this, they are enthusiastically taking it up. So there are a few examples of how we are trying to make sure that everything we do is centered around innovation.
Amazing. Like literally, like some of these things are what's really missing in the market, I think, and that you're filling a great need. What about technology and the trends that your bank is investing in? I know that you have a great technology partner that makes all of this possible in terms of the seamlessness and frictionlessness of the journey. But what is the process that you use to evaluate and decide on these technologies, or what is the latest one that you're choosing to use at the moment?
We are a digital bank which has been built grounds up with completely new technology stack in the last 3 years. So we have zero legacy. Everything is built brand new, and that gives us fantastic advantage of leveraging on every new technological advance that has happened over the last few years. Now we are cloud native, so we are built entirely on the cloud. That provides us all the advantages that the cloud provides from a resiliency perspective, from a performance perspective, and just from an innovation and speed perspective. Now, in terms of new technologies, of course, we continue to be looking out for everything that's going on in the world of technology. And of course, AI is a great example where everybody is focusing on it. Now, we feel that as a new digital bank and with a built on a new tech stack, it gives us ability to incorporate AI much faster in a responsible way than others may be able to. So we are investing in that. We are learning in the process. Right now, I will say it's more in a learning and experimentation stage rather than in a complete rollout stage. But we are very excited with the possibilities that it offers in the longer term.
Awesome. Let's move on to your leadership and your future vision for the bank itself. What is the best piece of advice that you've ever received, and how has it shaped your career?
I think there are two pieces of advice that I have received, which I have found to be very powerful. And at that point in time, I did not realize they were so powerful. And as time has gone by, it has really stayed with me. And the first of them really is around surrounding yourself with people who are smarter than you and better than you. And the power of that has really grown on me over time. And we've seen that more you do that, number one, you learn so much faster. And number two, really the one plus one is far more than two. You really surround yourself with people who bring complementary skills, people who possibly think very differently from yourself and can challenge your blind spots, can challenge your conventional thinking, and they really make an output which is so much better than what you would have done otherwise. So this is one piece of learning which has really, really stayed with me. And the second one is this saying that one of my earlier leaders used to tell me all the time, is that this too shall pass. And he used to say this too shall pass in a negative way and a positive way. He used to say when things are down, that don't worry too much. You will get back from it. You have to get back from it. But he also used to say it when things are doing very well. And what he meant by that was have the humility, that don't get arrogant, because you shouldn't think that just because you have succeeded this time that you would succeed every time. So you need to have the humility to have the hunger and the ability to look back and know that I need to still continue working as hard as ever in order to keep that up. So I think these are the two pieces of advice that I have really, really gained from.
Very cool. And if you had to pick one priority for your bank over the next 12 months, what would it be?
I will choose a priority which is not necessarily a product or a client led. It's really on culture. Now, we are
Mhm.
a very young bank, and we have the reason we have succeeded is, of course, all the cool stuff we have built, how client focused we have been, and how we have been able to use technology to define new experiences and products. But the reality is that the culture played a huge part. The culture that
Mm,
we have built where people are obsessed about clients, where people are obsessed about making sure we're doing the right thing every day. And most importantly, very, very collaborative, where we don't look at what each individual team needs to do, but what does the entire organization need us to do. And as we are growing, it will always be the case that retaining this culture becomes even more difficult. So for me,
that's
it is
true.
about how do we retain this culture, even as we strengthen it, even as things change, we need to put more structure. We need to add sometimes a little more complexity than earlier. How do you retain the core of this culture? How do you ensure that we continue to be as client obsessed as we were when we started? How do you ensure that we have each other's back even when we become much larger? I think to me, this is the biggest priority, which will either make us really, really successful or make us yet another big bank in the field.
They're very, very important priorities. I think culture is one of my favorite things as well when I look at places to work at. What advice would you give to somebody aspiring to be in your position one day?
I think uh, I don't think my advice will be very valuable, but maybe three pieces of learning which I have learned, and sometimes I wish I learned them earlier, but I learned sometimes through mistake, and which stayed with me. Number one really will be to embrace failure and uncertainty. And I've seen that in my career growth and in my journey, every time I've taken the safe option, it has been not the great option in the longer term. So embracing uncertainty, being comfortable with change is really important. And through this process, you will fail. But then the famous saying by Nelson Mandela really stays with me that I don't lose, I either win or I learn. And how do you take the failure as a learning opportunity, right? Has been something that has stayed with me. And related to that will be taking chances. Take chances on yourself, take chances on your career, and also take chances with people, because you will get surprised with what you can achieve. And the final point, which I think I have realized is extremely important, is to put people first. Now, there will be multiple stress and challenges that will come in the leadership journey. Sometimes there will be things which will be needed immediately. There will be multiple fires you need to work on, and truth be told, multiple priorities to handle at any point in time. But if you have to choose one, I would say choose people first, because in the longer term, that's what's going to make you and the team successful.
This is learnings for me. Like, and I'm not that I'm aspiring to be in your position, but it's really great to hear all of these things, like to learn them every day, right? Okay, let's move on to the rapid fire segment. So now these answers are going to be a bit more quick. Okay. If you weren't in banking, what career would you have pursued?
This one I can answer fast. I would have been a teacher. I love teaching. I have taught in
Nice.
early on in my life, and I truly enjoy it.
Amazing. Describe your leadership style in 3 words.
Balanced and calm. I really pride myself on staying calm under pressure. Number two will be strategic. I try to balance the long term and the short term. And thirdly, probably empowering. Work with the team and make sure that you build a great team who make your life easier.
Awesome. Is there a regulation or policy change you believe would significantly improve the banking industry?
See, I have found the regulators always very balanced. They are always trying to make sure that they embrace innovation, but in a safe and sound way. So, but honestly, I've always found every regulator I've worked with very balanced, very forward-looking, and trying to do the right thing for a very wide set of stakeholders. One specific area which I think regulators will be interested in looking at, and we as industry look for directions, will be the emerging area of AI. And of course, every regulator would like to make sure that we are using AI responsibly, we are using AI in a way which is beneficial to the consumers and to the employees, and having a unified approach to doing it across jurisdictions will be very helpful.
Amazing. And what is the first app you check in the morning?
The first one will always be WhatsApp to make sure that I catch up with my friends and family from across the world, the messages that have come through the night. And after that, I will go into my news apps and look at a variety of news apps from New York Times to Wall Street Journal and get a download of yesterday's politics and the markets.
Amazing. And what is in your wallet? How do you pay? What is your favorite payment method?
I have not carried a wallet for so many years. I carry my phone and I've only used my phone for all my payments. I will use my phone, either Apple Pay for pay, or I will use the Pay Now, which is the local Singapore payment rails to pay. I honestly have not used a physical payment method for so long now, unless I'm traveling.
That's true. And what is one message you'd like to leave with our listeners today?
Bank with trust. It's the best digital bank in Singapore.
I love it. Thank you so much, Dwai, for joining us today and sharing your incredible journey with TrustBank. It's been fascinating to hear both about your learnings and how you've grown and the innovative ways you're redefining digital banking in Singapore. And to all our listeners, thank you for tuning in. Stay connected for our next episode, where we'll continue exploring the future of banking with more thought leaders. Until then, keep innovating, just like
Thank,
TrustBank.
thank you, Namita. It's a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much, Dwai.